Welcome to Design and Analysis of Algorithms, Lecture 1, Introduction to Asymptotic Complexity. I am M. Gauri Shankar, Assistant Professor, Government College of Engineering, Bargur. So in this lecture, we are going to see how to find the running time of a program fragment, analyze the factors affecting running time, and derive an equation for running time. So let us consider the simple for loop which starts at I is equal to 0 and it is run for n times. In each iteration, we are doing the following three tasks: task 1, task 2 and task 3. And I is incremented by 1 in each iteration. So what are all the factors affecting the running time of this for loop? So I want you all to pause this video and think for a while the factors affecting the for loop. So A, it asks whether the running time of this for loop depends on the running time of individual tasks inside the for loop, and B, whether the running time of the for loop depends on how many times the for loop gets executed, that is n, and C, whether the running time of this for loop depends on the clock speed of the computer, that is the CPU speed, or which processor we use, and D, so suppose if we run the for loop in a faster computer versus if we run the for loop in a slower computer, will there be any difference? So the answer to this quiz 1 is the running time of for loop depends on all these factors. So the running time of individual statements inside the for loop, the number of times for loop gets executed, the processing power of the computer in which the program is run, and the computing time differs from one computer to another. So this for loop depends on which computer we run. So all the factors are correct. So let us analyze the running time of this for loop. So to find the running time of this for loop, we are going to consider a virtual computer and assume that this virtual computer has infinite processing power. And in this faster computer, let us consider A is the time taken to do task 1, B is the time taken to do task 2, and C is the time taken to do task 3. So if you come to the for loop initialization phase, consider Z is the time taken to do I is equal to 0, E is the time taken to do the comparison, and D is the time taken to do the increment operation I++. And these I is equal to 0, I less than 1, I++. So these are present at the top of the for loop, and I is equal to 0 is going to get executed only once for the entire for loop. I less than n will be executed for n plus 1 times. I++ increment operator will be done for n plus 1 times, and task 1, 2 and 3 will be done for exactly n times. So if you look at the running time of for loop, so it can be written as Z plus, why it is Z? Because Z corresponds to the time taken to do I is equal to 0. So it is going to get executed only once. So it is Z plus. If you look at ABC are the running times to do task 1, task 2 and task 3, and these tasks will be executed for n times. So put together we will have A plus B plus C into n. And if you see the comparison operator I less than n and I++, these will be executed for n plus 1 times. So we have the factor D plus E into n plus 1. So this equation, it considers each and every individual task, each and every individual statements that are written inside the for loop, that are executed as part of the for loop, and considering them, we have derived this running time equation. Now to simplify this, let us consider m as a plus b plus c and p as d plus e. Then this above equation can be written as z plus m into n plus p into n plus 1. Now to make the equation simpler, we can omit all d, e and z. Now from the original equation, if you omit z and d and e, now we will be left up only with a plus b plus c into n. So r of n can be written as x into n, where x can be written as a plus b plus c. Or in other words, the running time of this for loop, it is proportional to n, the input size. If n is going to be very large, then this for loop is going to get executed for a much longer time than if n is very small, then this for loop is going to get executed immediately. So let us see another example on how to find the running time. So here we have a nested for loop. The outer for loop runs from I is equal to 0 to n, and the j for loop, right, it runs from 0 to n, right, j plus plus, and this is also right, I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, and again we have 3 tasks that has been done in that is task 1, task 2 and task 3. So what will be the running time of this nested for loop? So previously we have analyzed only a single for loop, which will be the case for j loop. So we know that, right, for j loop the running time depends on n. So suppose if we have one more outer for loop, what will be the running time of this nested for loop? So let us see, right, whether the running time is 2n into a plus b plus c. No, right? So we know that, right, in a nested for loop, the outer loop runs for n times and the inner loop runs for another n times. Then we should get for a total task 1, task 2 and task 3 will be done for n square times. So since we don't have any factor involving n square, we can omit a. So let us come to C. So in C, right, A, B and C are the running time to do task 1, task 2 and task 3. And we have one more times, right, a plus b plus c is being multiplied by n. So we will get a plus b plus c whole square into n square. So that is also wrong. And D, right, it has 2a plus 2b plus 2c. We are not going to do these tasks one more time for every iteration of I and j loop. So D is also wrong. So we are left with B. So B is a plus b plus c into n square. A, B, C are the running times to do task 1, task 2 and task 3. So it will be done for n square times. So we will get R of n is equal to a plus b plus c into n square, which is the correct answer. So let us consider another quiz. So what is the running time of this following loop? So j is equal to 1, and then we have a for loop which starts from I is equal to n, I greater than or equal to n, and I is equal to I slash 2. So in every iteration of this for loop, I is getting decremented or it is getting reduced half, and I loop starts at n and it is going to run until I reaches a value of 1. So how many times this j plus plus will be executed? So we have several options. So whether the running time of this loop is a into n, or whether it is n, or is it n square, or is it log n? So I want you all to pause this video and think about which is the right option for this quiz. So any for loop which starts at n and which ends at 1, and during each iteration gets I value gets reduced as half. So which function it starts at n and it ends at 1, and at every stage n is getting reduced to half, so that is a log n function. So the running time of this for loop is directly proportional to log n. So D is the correct answer. So in summary, we never actually calculate actual running times of a computer. So when you take C programs, we have a process.h header by using which we can calculate the exact time taken by the for loop to get executed. We are not actually doing that. We are just considering a virtual computer to find the running time, and in every case we see that the running time depends on n, that is the input size. If n is large, then we end up more running time, and if n is small, then we have smaller running time. So the running time of any program, it depends on the input size of the program, and there can be more than one input to the program. In all the cases that we have considered, the input size is a single parameter, that is n. So there are also scenarios where there can be more than one parameter acting as input to a particular program. Thank you.